The frog to handstand is a fantastic skill, both as a form of handstand entry, as well as a progression to more advanced form of handstand pressing or even the handstand push-up. Today we're going to walk through exactly what I did to get from 0 to full frog to handstand, including progressions, sets, reps, and programming. Let's get into it. How you doing, Cali Crowd? Welcome back to the channel that makes calisthenics simple. Jumping straight into it, this tutorial will assume that you cannot do a handstand already and that you're looking to use the frog to handstand as a way of learning how to handstand. So the only prerequisites you will need is the ability to hold 20-second back to wall and chest to wall handstands. If you can't do that already, I suggest you take a look at my tutorial on how to handstand against the wall, as this will be a key step as part of this whole journey. Now, telling you that you might not need to handstand already might come across as a bit controversial, as most will suggest that you kick up to handstand before learning any form of press to handstand. But I genuinely believe that the benefits you build by learning to handstand the stronger, more controlled way, as opposed to the faster way, allows for a better foundation for future calisthenic skills. The frog to handstand is a very complex skill, and rather than just throwing out a list of progressions and letting you figure out how to progress them, what I'm going to do is give you the specific exercises with the reps, sets, and areas of focus to allow you to master each progression so that you have a frog to handstand when the component parts are put together. The first frog to handstand progression is, unsurprisingly, centered around the Frogstand itself as the key exercise. We want to build up to being able to hold this for 20 seconds at least, focusing on keeping the hips high. If you struggle with the Frogstand, regress to the basic Frogstand. This is our foundation, and without mastery of this skill, we have no base for the frog to handstand proper. So we'd sooner have higher quality on a regressed version of the Frogstand than pushing through with ego on something that we can't do. Supporting this progression is the Pike push-up exercise. I'm probably playing Captain Obvious here, but expanding our overhead pushing strength is going to be key to mastering any form of handstand pressing. Through the Pike push-up, we can load the delts in a way that has practical and far-reaching benefits to all form of handstand training. Aim to hit 10 to 12 reps over 3 to 4 sets to ensure that we get the familiarity in the motor pattern that we need to get the frog to handstand. The wall walk is our next exercise, and this is great for developing straight arm pressing, proprioceptive awareness, and familiarity with being upside down, all things that will be important for putting the component parts of the frog to handstand together. Perform this for 4 reps with a 10-second chest to wall handstand hold at the last rep. Once we've mastered the first progression and the exercises, we can move on to the second progression, which layers on more strength work and centers around the advanced Frogstand. Here, we're looking to take the knees off the arms in 10 to 15 second holds over 3 to 4 reps. We can bridge the gap between a Frogstand and an advanced Frogstand by having one knee off the supporting arm and holding that isometrically before swapping sides. Going with this, we have the chest to wall tuck handstand. We need to build up range in the shoulders and strength in the traps, and the tuck handstand does this in an extremely applicable way. Key focus here is on keeping the core tight and pushing tall through the shoulders. Aim to do this for 10 to 15 seconds over 3 to 4 sets. Next, we're leveling up our Pike push-ups. By elevating the feet and hands, we shift more of our weight onto our shoulders, as well as getting more range throughout this movement. These are harder than they look, so the thing to target here is pushing for that alignment from hands to hips. By doing this, we drill good habits for our handstands later on. If you've mastered the first 2 progressions, the third progression is where you start to really reap your rewards and things start to click. This progression layers on more skill application and is headlined by the frog to tuck handstand. This exercise is where we start to put these 2 similar positions together in a dynamic movement and allow the frog to handstand to start to take shape. As with all back to wall handstand exercises, it's okay for your back to arch a little bit, and it probably will with the press to tuck handstand. But if you really struggle, regress this movement and do a hop to tuck handstand instead. The next exercise follows the same line of thought, and it's the frog to handstand negative. Here we want to kick up into a back to wall handstand slightly away from the wall and slowly come down into a tuck handstand, then into a frog stand. This will be hard, so don't beat yourself up if the early attempts don't feel like you're coming down slow enough. The control will come with time. The exercise to cap this progression is the chest to wall handstand push-up. Again, the jump between progressions is considerable, so if needed, take a step back and hold the chest to wall handstand push-up as just an isometric. For the exercises that make up this progression, target 1 rep, 2 if you can manage it without the quality breaking down, for 5 to 6 sets. And make sure you're taking prolonged breaks, 2 to 3 minutes. There's no value in rushing through this. Okay, so now we have our progressions. How do we turn this into a full frog to handstand? Well, once we've mastered these progressions, it really becomes a matter of patience and repetition. I'd even go as far as suggesting a grease the groove approach until you feel confident enough to do it in free space. Just make sure that you're keeping safe and warming up your wrists before you do it. Crowd, these are exactly the steps that I use to learn how to frog to handstand, but I want to really stress that this is a complex skill. It's hard to learn, so be patient if things don't click straight away. But crowd, I want to know what your questions are when it comes to handstands. Let me know down in the comment section below. And crowd, I'll see you in the next one.